Hari Om. Good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's pray to the Almighty, seek His blessings, and move on. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryankaravavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, the Omnipresent, the Omnipotent, who also has the divine names Padmagarbha, Sharirabhrata, to such a magnificent divine Lord, together with obeisance, with Shraddha, Bhakti, Gnana, Vairagya, we offer our deepest humble salutations. We seek your grace, your mercy, your love, your compassion, your strength, your forgiveness. O Lord, bless me immensely with the divine qualities of Shraddha, Bhakti, Gnana, Vairagya, Mumukshutva, Prapatti, only and only to understand thy true nature, only to have that first-hand experience of thyself within each one of us, aparoksha anubhuti. We beseech in you that at the end of our lives, we reach thy holy feet. Om Tat Sat. Today, by the grace of God and with the blessings of the Guru Parampara, we are on our Divine Discourse number 341. On the 18th of July 2023, Shobhana Kratnama Samvatsara, the first day of Dakshinayan, Varsharutu, Adhika Shravana Mas, Shukla Paksh, Pratama, Pushyami Nakshatra, Harshana Yoge, Bhavakarane. On this auspicious day of Tuesday, and the auspicious time of the evening, we all take a vow that, O Lord, I firmly and truly believe Naham Karta Hari Karta, Hari Preranaya, Hari Priti. Every situation, every incident, every happening, every circumstance, all that is coming to me in my life is only and only at your command and will. I completely trust in your moves. I know that each and everything that is happening in my life is only and only to uplift me from this ocean of birth and death, to release me from the shackles of this samsara, and to become one with the Almighty. I accept every aspect of my life with prasada buddhi, without any sense of irritation, without any sense of questioning, in complete peace, tranquility, devotion, faith, and surrender. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you once again. So now, Lord Krishna is concluding this chapter, Gnana Karma SANYASA Yoga. In the last two verses, after he explains that the one who has gained this knowledge and wisdom, how he progresses and eventually he liberates. Then in the previous shloka he says, there one who does not have faith, who does not believe in the scriptures, what to say of the other worlds? He will suffer in this world and he will also suffer in the outer worlds. Now, giving this clear indication how prominent, how predominant this knowledge is, he takes us forward in eventually concluding the chapter. Now, we have a great lesson to learn today. We all have been saying Naham Karta Hari Karta. See, understand one thing. whatever is required for upliftment, whether we have studied or not studied, whether like it has come in a particular chapter where we had to take up in the discourse, it was irrelevant to me. What I found was that was required for the cleansing of our mind and heart, so that the Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana happens in the right manner. So all these basic principles, what are required, we have been using it from time to time, right from the beginning. So that's one great advantage. And I tell you, it was a thought which came to my mind. No one taught me, or no one said this is the way it has to be done. In fact, when we were studying, it was not done. So I said, when I understand how this whole structure of bandhana, bondage, and how one has to come out of this bondage, what are the core essentials? That is what I was able to understand. And I said, let us use right from the beginning whatever we need to unlock these shackles. So today what we'll understand is the importance of Nimitta Matram. That's going to be the core understanding of today. And if we get that, there are several places where one thing, if we have understood it well, it's enough to take us out. We don't need 10 things. One, whatever you like. So I will always be presenting to you all different techniques. You try whatever is required. Like you have, you go to a nice hotel, you have a huge buffet spread over there. What is the logic behind a buffet spread? The logic is just a simple fact that you have a choice to eat what suits your palate, what suits your appetite that particular day. See, palate may be okay, I want to eat this, but that particular day I am already not that hungry, so let me go light. So this way it gives you a choice. In the same way, I am always presenting to you a buffet. Now you pick up whatever you want and you try several things. If you don't like, try the next one. If you don't like that, try the next one. And whatever you like, whatever it convinces you, catch hold of. And rigorously practice it. Now this Nimitta Matra, Naham Karta Hari Karta. Now who is the doer here? Lord Hari, Narayana, he is the doer. And who are we? Nimitta Matra. Just for namesake. We are not doing anything over here. Look at our own life, our own body. We might have lived for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, 90 years. The moment that prana shakti moves out of this body starts decaying. So now today, if it is fresh, alive and moving, is only because of that prana shakti which is behind us. And what we think we are doing everything, that is the only and only Gnana what we have in our life, which has to be removed. Why? The simple Gnana. The Lord again and again is saying, I am the one who has created this universe. I am the one who at one point of time was Nirguna Brahman, and now at one point I created the universe and I became Saguna Brahman. But I also wanted to enjoy the play of life, so I put in the factor of jeeva bhava through my Maya Shakti. I created that so that each one of us is entangled in a particular frame of mind, and the life of birth and death goes on and on. Here and there, he himself, he says, I want to get released from this Jiva Bhava. He selects certain jivas and then he gives them a satsang, and in satsang they get the ashraya or the benefit of a guru and shastra. They slowly do chitta shuddhi, chitta ekagrata, shravana, manana, nididhyasana, and eventually they get realized. Who is getting realized? God himself. So this jiva bhava, what we are stuck with, now that is what we need to come out. And one of the very important tools to achieve this coming out of the jiva bhava, I can say, is this. Let's understand Nimitta Matram, with which he in the verse 41 he talks about it. So I will tell you quite a few metaphors, story. So we should get it in a very concrete form. Yes, I have to come out of this Agnana, that I am not this jiva. I am not this personality, what I'm thinking I am supposed to be. No. That is out of Agnana I have got this. So let's move on to verse number 41. Shri Bhagavanuvāca Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam Gnana Sanchinna Samshayam Atmavantam na karmani Nibadnanti Dhananjaya. Now, very clearly, he very clearly now explains to Arjuna. He says, what is the meaning of this shloka? Let's get the crux. He who has renounced the fruit of actions through yoga, whose doubts have been destroyed by this spiritual knowledge, and who is established in the self. You can call, in a way, you can say he's possessed by himself. Not that egoistic possession, that this self is that true self, that Atma, Dhananjaya. If a person, he stays in his Atma Bhav, he is not bound by actions of any kind. So this way he's summing up this whole chapter. Yoga Sanyasya Karma. One who has transcended action. See, the yajnas, what he taught us, the 12 yajnas. The ultimate goal is Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi. Everything is Brahman. You know that concept of Agni Kunda, where there is fire, where there is a Yajman who is offering havis into the fire, and there is the Lord who is receiving that offering, the ladle, which is the spoon through which he is offering, everything, and the Panditji, the spectators, everything, everybody is nothing but the Lord. If we have understood this correctly, another metaphor I can give for this Brahmarpanam Brahmavi, which is the final goal of what our understanding is. Let's say in a court, a criminal hearing is going on. The judge is Brahman. The accused criminal is Brahman. The police who have got hold of the accused is Brahman. The advocate who is arguing on behalf of the criminal is. So everybody, the spectators are Brahman. Imagine that whole thing. This should come to your mind. There are no two bodies here. There is only one and one absolute reality. Again and again we have to move towards that, because from that one became many. And from that many again, at the end of the yuga, everything goes back into that one. So like in a tree, you have the stem, you have the branches, you have the sub branches, then you have the roots, you have the flowers, you have the raw fruits, you have the ripe fruits. Now, everything is that tree and tree alone. Although they may be looking differently, in different ways everything is projected, but it is that tree and tree alone. In the same way, it is the Lord and Lord alone. Now when a person is started doing the yajnas, he is clearly getting an idea that yes, it is the Lord in me, which by ignorance I thought it is me. Now everything is happening through him and him alone. Like you have a screen on which a movie is being played. Now that screen is not at all identifying itself with whatever is happening in the movie. It does not take a wee bit of credit, or it does not get disturbed for the tragedies, the comedies, and whatever good things are happening in the movie. There may be a stage where the audience stand up and they clap. There are cheers, but the screen will not take credit for the cheers. It is saying, I have got nothing to do over here. It's all a projection on me which is playing, which is being played on the screen. This is the concept. Now, I will explain this in many other different ways. This is we're just warming up now. So in this way, this sadhak, he has got that enlightenment. And one who transcends karma, because he's saying, I'm not doing anything. Just as the screen is watching everything, whatever is happening, in the same way this sadhak, he says, I am the pure witness. He transcends SANYASA karma. SANYASA karma means not that he is giving up karma. He knows that I am not the doer. That's it. He knows that. Gnana sanchinna samshayam. Whatever doubts he had so far about what is this whole thing. See, we might have started this journey 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago. That time our understanding about this whole creation was completely different. Now we have got a clear understanding that which I thought I was, is out of ignorance, and there is nothing other than Brahman over here. So whatever kind of doubts, at whatever level, that ultimate understanding that I am the Brahman, without any doubt, that clear knowledge has seeped into the sadhak's mind. But only difference is, it comes, it goes, it comes, it goes. So now with that nididhyasana, this knowledge is going to be strengthened. That's what we all should try to achieve. Whenever we are doing our japa, Mahamrityunjaya, Vishnu Sahasranama, Gayatri Japa, or any Nama Japa, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, when you're doing that, just go one step backwards and visualize that consciousness is the main drive through which this chanting is happening, through which this entire action is being performed. You are not doing anything. Hey, I did so many malas today that I should not be there. This body and mind, this saguna akara of that Parabrahma has done this much. Although you write, yes, I've done 5 malas, 10 malas, 20 malas. You write for the sake of transactional. In the transactional world, you can't say that so and so, this Brahman, Saguna, Nirguna, that will not work. So you say your name, whatever it is, but at the back of the mind, it has to be that this Saguna Brahman has done this. So without any doubt, knowing very well that this jeeva, through this jeeva, is that Atman which is doing everything. Now this person has come into a clear understanding. And not that it has to be once, chitta shuddhi, then chitta ekagrata, and after that I start my shravana, and after doing a lot of shravana I do manana, then I do nididhyasana. This may take 10 years, 15 years, 20 years also. No. Overlap. Start everything. Get into a satsang. Start your namajap. Start doing seva. Start listening, reading to scriptures. And at the same time, clarify your doubts. And at the same time, with whatever clarity you have, to whatever extent, start doing nididhyasana, meaning concretize it. So in this way, then that atmavantam, they use this word, atmavantam na karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya. So that atmavantam, he's centered. How? After centered where? In that atma. Atma is not somewhere outside. That power in him, that Chetana Shakti within him, which is the reflected consciousness of the Chaitanya Shakti, of the Nirguna, this Chetana, Saguna Brahma. Now, that is all playing a game. And this Jiva is Nimitta Matram. So this is Atmavantam, centered in that enlightenment. Na karmani nibadhanti. So then no action binds him. Every action leads towards liberation. Everything is, otherwise what happens? There is an action, then there is papa or punya, and if there is a papa, then he has to suffer. If there is punya, he will have happy times, and then whatever for the balance, after the prarabdha of this body is over, this body dies, and then again the jiva goes and takes another body as per his sanchita karma and prarabdha. So that life goes on and on and on. So here, what he has done now, na karmani nibadhanti, because atmavantam, he stabilized in that atma, in that bhava of I am not the doer. Gnana sanchinna samshayam, given up all the doubts. In this way, this particular sadhak, he moves on. Now, if you see, what is the motive of this sadhak? When he is established in this kind of jiva bhava, in the state of being atmavantam, although he is doing in every karma, he is doing all the karmas with nishkalmasha, nirhetu. Hetu means the cause. I am not the cause, or not, I am not the doer, and does every karma as a nimitta. As Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, Nimitta Matram bhavasavya sachin. He says, Arjuna, what are you talking? You are just nimitta. I have already killed everybody. Now you just lift your bow and arrow and shoot. I have already killed everybody. You don't think that you are going to fight this war and you are doing all that. This is what exactly the Lord is telling over here. So what is the meaning of this Nimitta Matram? Now let's say a student he has appeared for his yearly examination. He is sitting in the hall. Now after the teacher, invigilator gives him or her the question paper. Earlier he had already got the writing material, so he immediately starts writing. You see, everybody is in action now. The moment the Question paper comes, everybody start writing. Now who is writing? The answer sheet. You say obviously the hands are writing. With the help of the fingers and a pen, the hand is writing. But now if you go deeper, actually can the hands write anything just on its own without the help of the mind? Just think. See, we don't think on so many factors. That's the reason we are not able to move ahead and get the grasp of the subtle things. So, although the hand is visible in writing something or in doing an action, but the real doer who is instructing the hands and the fingers relentlessly to move on and on is none other than the mind. So the one who is the doer, the mind is not visible. The hands are visible, the body is visible, but the mind which is behind this body and hands is not visible. So, same way, go one step backward. The real doer in us behind the mind is that Paramatma, the unseen, that Chetana Shakti. The body, the senses are like the hand. They are the seen, but the seer is that Lord and Lord. Therefore, Naham Karta Hari Karta. The mind decides what to do. The Paramatma in me decides what to do. Hari Preranaya. At the inspiration, by the inspiration of Lord Hari, I am doing this. And for whom I am doing? Hari Prityartham, for the love of Narayana, Hari. And this hand becomes a Nimitta Matram. Same way, this body is also Nimitta Matram. The Paramatma in us is using this body, mind, and senses. Now, this is the true knowledge. Everything else is false. How do you say it is false? Look at a person who is dead. What can that person do? Where is that person the moment the body is dead? So in this way, the true sadhak, he understands that I am not the doer. He knows that I am neither the karta nor the bhokta. So then what happens? There is no kartrutva. The moment you say I am not the doer, Hari Preranaya Hari Prityartham, that kartrutva bhava goes away. When kartrutva is not there, karma is not there. And when karma is not there, the karma phala is not there. And when karma phala is also not there, there is no question of any birth after the death of that. So everything becomes an yajna, a puja. Because the person is no more there. He has dissolved the aham bhava. Completely he has dissolved. He says, where is it now? I am not the doer. Like another example which we have studied in the past. You have seen a bank cashier. He is in that cabin, which is properly protected from all sides. And he's sitting with huge amount of cash around him. Sometimes, when there is an excess of cash, they don't have space. It's a small cabin. So they just load, and he's literally sitting on a mountain of cash. All across there would be cash. Somebody is coming and is depositing 50,000 rupees. Somebody else is coming, depositing 1 lakh of rupees. He's putting a seal and giving them a counterfoil. And another person is coming and is withdrawing 1 lakh of rupees. Another person is withdrawing 5 lakhs of rupees. Now, this cashier, if you look at him, he is receiving the cash and he is giving the cash. But in the cashier's mind, what is there? When he receives the cash, he is very clear that this is not mine, it doesn't belong to me. And when he is giving the cash also, he does not have that pride that I am giving this cash. No. He knows that I am only a Nimitta Matram over here. I'm employed by this bank. All this money belongs to the bank. That should be our attitude whenever we say Nimitta Matram. The doer is somebody else. The bhokta, the karta is somebody else. I am just a Nimitta Matram. We say no, everything God does, sab Bhagwan karta hai. That is a cliche. Just for this heck of saying we say, but you should mean what you're saying. That deep knowledge, if one breath is going in, it is because of that Lord I'm able to take that. It doesn't belong to me. We have seen during COVID how people died for the sake of oxygen. There were so many, especially in Delhi, there were so many so-called chairmen, managing director of large government corporates, government organizations, and they were always flying in high colors because they thought that I am the chairman of this big organization, but there are people who died for the lack of oxygen. A pathetic state. Such a big officer who was like at the helm of a very big office, who had about thousands of people working under him, he could not get one cylinder, he died. So life teaches us now and then that your status, your power, your money, without the grace of God, everything goes for a toss. So when you have that, as the cashier knows that I am not the giver nor I am the receiver over here. So as far as he is working with that bhava, he is released from any kind of bondage. But the moment he thinks that this money is mine, he'll be caught and imprisoned. He comes under that bandhana. That is bandhana. Because he has committed a crime. In the same way, why are we under bandhana? Because we think we are doing. The moment we give up that I am not the doer, we get nothing to our account. So these are the fine examples which we should understand. And in that frame of mind, we should be working in this world. Now let's take another metaphor. Say, now this concept of Nimitta Matram. Let's use the concept of a movie again. Imagine that life is like a movie. Okay, there is a movie being played on the screen, and that is our life. Okay, and we are spectators sitting in a theater. So now what happens here? You become the witness. Otherwise we get engrossed with the characters. So just like we are the spectators sitting in a theater, watching the scenes, whatever is unfolding on the screen, we are just watching. And all the experiences and situations that screen represents our lives. Now don't try to combine the examples. Everywhere it is given in a different context. Now here what I'm saying is, you are a spectator in a theater. Imagine that your life is like a movie and you are like a spectator in a theater, observing the events. We may cry, we may laugh, we may feel emotions, we get involved in the story unfolding, but ultimately recognize that it's just a projection, a play of light and shadow which is happening on the screen. Similarly, in this life, we experience joy, we experience sorrow, we experience fear, success, failure, pleasure, pain. All these experiences are temporary and they are transient, they keep changing. We should understand that they are like the scenes in the movie which is happening in my life. But we are the true self, where we remain unaffected and beyond the fluctuations of the. Like if there is a scene wherein the whole house in which uh, people are staying now that is on fire. Now you are a spectator. You have got nothing to do over there. In the same manner, just as spectators in a theater, don't get entangled with the characters and events which are happening on the screen. So this attitude of distancing yourself and becoming a witness, that encourages us to maintain a sense of detachment in life, that gives us a sense of understanding that we are that eternal consciousness. My true nature is that Atman, which is witnessing the drama of life played on the screen. It reminds us to observe. It reminds us to engage with life experiences, but not to get attached or identified with them. Knowing that it is transient and it is impermanent. No sorrow is forever, no joy is also forever. So this Nimitta Matram, it invites us to cultivate a strong perspective that allows us to witness life's ups and downs, be it equanimity, compassion, and a deep understanding of our true nature as that unchanging consciousness behind everything which is happening. Atmavantam. Now this sadhak is in the state of, he has understood that it is consciousness and consciousness alone which is doing everything. So far I thought I am doing, and I have so and so person as my wife, as my husband, as my son, as my daughter, as my brother, as my father, my mother, sister, relatives. All this, I thought I am different from all of them. But once you understand that that one consciousness is everything that is appearing in this world. Now this is suddenly very difficult to grasp. How do you do this? You do this by constantly meditating on this fact. And what will happen? Don't be astonished, or don't take it as some superstition, or don't take it even that, I believe, I have faith. I tell you today, even if you don't have belief, you don't have faith, now science is supporting this. Neuroplasticity. You can read a little more about this. Any thought which goes on in your mind continuously, a neural pathway is created, and that becomes the truth. That's it. Now you're learning typing. Initially what? A, S, D, F, then J, K, L, M. How we practice? One letter we press, go to the next finger, and then the next row above, the next row below. When you start typing again and again, then the neural pathways are built in your mind, which translates it with the skeletal system of your body. So the brain and body work in tandem, and then even without looking at the keyboard, how you type, that is because of the neural pathways. Earlier you didn't know, now you know that. So in the same way, when you do the nididhyasana, after you're convinced with the fact that yes, everything is in consciousness, my mind is in consciousness, my body is in consciousness. Once you get that thought clear, crystal clear in your mind, and you start meditating, by neuroplasticity, neural pathways are formed, and you will stay in that thought. So now how to stay in this thought of, be centered in this pure consciousness? Let's listen to a story. A sadhak like us, he has how his life transformed. So the story goes like this. Once upon a time, in the region of Tibet, amongst the serene mountains, there lived a sadhak by name Tenzin. Now, Tenzin diligently he had studied all the learnings of the Tibetan Buddhism, and he had come to that deep understanding. He practiced and he also mastered the state of being in the present moment. Nimitta Matram and being in the present moment, they're all one side by side. Now, what do you do in Nimitta Matram? You are saying, I am not the doer. And who is the doer? That consciousness in me is the doer. Now, how do I understand consciousness? By feeling, by being in the present moment. So, this Tenzin, he retreated to, he used to go now and then to a secluded cave in the mountain to meditate. One day, as he settled down to meditate, as per his usual practice, he found that he was heavily distracted by all sorts of stray thoughts, and also there were some noises which were disturbing from outside. Frustrated, that frustration began to build within him. And he said, now let me go to some other place, because I'm not able to enter that state of being in the present moment. He was struggling, basically. Then he remembered the wise words of his teacher, Guru, who had once shared a story with him. Now the story helps us to be in the present moment. Now the story spoke of one skilled archer who could always hit a target effortlessly almost every time. Now the archer revealed that the secret to his accuracy, it lay in focusing his gaze solely on the center of the target, letting go of all the distractions. So this is Chitta Ekagrata. Okay. Now, inspired by this tale, Tenzin decided to apply the same principle in his meditation. He closed his eyes and imagined his mind. Now, this is another metaphor coming here. He imagined his mind as a clear blue sky, vast and expansive in nature. Now, in this so-called sky, that is the mind and sky we are comparing now, thoughts and distractions were like the passing clouds. They are floating by. Now, when they are floating by, in the sky, there are clouds floating by. So in the same way, in our mind, there are thoughts floating by. So what he did was, without catching hold of the thought, he allowed it to just pass. And he began observing his breath, using it just like an anchor to stabilize his attention, as we use pranayam, because we know that control of the breath is control of the mind, because mind travels on a vehicle called breath. So he now and then is focusing on his breath, and he's switching back to his thought. Now, as the thoughts arose, he acknowledged them with a gentle awareness. But instead of engaging with them, he allowed them to drift away like the passing clouds in the sky, which is his mind. So in this way, he started practicing. Whatever thought came, without being judgmental, he just allowed the thought to pass. With this persistence and patience, now Tenzin experienced moments of that pure presence. The moment the mind becomes empty, there starts the presence of awareness. Till then, the mind has covered that awareness. So for that, we need to silence her. So he became absorbed in that clarity and that luminosity of that inner self, that inner being, that Chetana Shakti. He noticed that the more he surrendered to the present moment. What is that present moment? Not thinking of anything, neither the past nor the future. Because a thought makes you think about the past or the future. What else it does? So the moment you stop focusing or embracing the thoughts, you come to a state of presence. So the stronger his connection became with the present moment. Over a period of time, Tenzin found that by embodying this attitude of not grasping, not holding, but instead maintaining a steady focus on the present moment. What is present moment? No past, no future. No past, no future meaning no thought. He was able to sustain that state of pure presence for longer and longer durations. We should also attempt, no, I'm going to do half an hour meditation. Please don't do that. Half a minute. Try for half a minute of pure awareness meditation. No thought. It may take some time, a few 2-3 minutes for you to come to a state where there is no thought. Be in that moment. So in this way, with that practice, slowly the distractions it diminished for Tenzin. Then we dwelled effortlessly in that realm of the present moment. And as he was in this present moment, he experienced that deep peace and profound insights. Now he is experiencing the consciousness. Otherwise, consciousness cannot be explained. We can go up to a point, a guru, a shastra can take you up to a point where it tells you how to silence the mind. And it gives you by description what is the meaning of consciousness. But that experience only and only can tell us what it is. So that Tenzin's journey not only taught him the art of staying in the mind, of being present, but reminded him of the importance of patience. So much of patience he had to have. Persistence, again and again he's trying. And this way he developed that unwavering focus. So my dear friends, sadhaks, this story actually teaches, it serves as an inspiration to all of us as advanced practitioners. So we have to deepen our meditation practice, cultivate this pure and effortless presence within us. Then we can go to higher and higher planes of consciousness. So this way, now Lord Krishna, he explains, and then he tells him, look, this is the state of a sadhak who has reached with that profound understanding that he is not the doer, he is Nimitta Matram, being in the moment of present, given up all the kartrutva and bhoktrutva, established in the self, he is leading his life. Outside he may appear like anything to anybody, but what is going on in the mind of that sadhak, that is important. So try to understand this. One time listening may not help us. Listen to it again and again. Make your points. Come out with doubts. When you start thinking again and again, your doubts are answered. Otherwise, I am always there to answer. Reach that state of samyak adhiyate samadhi. Well-placed mind is a state of samadhi. Place it well, meaning what? Don't entertain any thought. Be gentle with it. Allow it to pass. Just don't think about it, that's all. Don't solicit. If somebody comes whom you don't like, don't talk. That person will understand and he'll go after some time. In the same way, if you start entertaining, talking to them and say, "Ab kya chai piyenge, coffee piyenge, nashta karenge, khana khayenge," then he understands that I'm entertained here. He'll try to stay there. But if you don't talk, don't offer anything, then the person understands that I am not welcomed here. So don't welcome a thought. Let it come and let it go. In this way, be in that state, allow that mind completely to become no mind. Na manaste kadachana. Allow it to come to a state where there is no mind, and then you will start experiencing that pure state of consciousness, which not only removes you from this bandhana, from this fear of birth and death, from this bondage, but it also leads you to moksha and liberation. Now, we take the 42nd verse. This is the concluding verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Tasmad Agnana Sambhutam Ritsnam Gnana Sinatmanaha Chitvainam Samshayam Yogam Atishta Uttishta Bharata. So now Lord Krishna is concluding now. I've told you all this, hey Arjuna. Now you have understood now what is happening here. What is being in the state of consciousness? What is being in the state of encapsulated by bandhana? You have to abandon karma. You have understood. You don't have to leave the world. You don't have to give up your responsibilities, your duties. Keep doing whatever is there. What you have to give up is not your dharma, but your body, mind, and bondage. Thinking that you are the person who is doing. Have always in this mind, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, that this world is Paramatma, Saguna Brahma. This dharma in this world is Paramatma again, Saguna Brahma. This body is Paramatma, Saguna Brahma. Give up your ignorance. Now I am giving you this knowledge. Krishna says, although this knowledge is known, meaning it is heard, known, told, but not understood by many, unless and until I choose to release or liberate a jeeva, nobody else can get out of this. Tasmat Agnana Sambhutam. Tasmat Agnana Sambhutam Hritsnam Gnana Sinatmanaha. When that doubt which is in your heart, this ignorance, it is cut into pieces by the sword of Gnana. Now the sword of knowledge is cutting. Every time we are listening to this lecture, it is chopping the Agnana, means ignorance which is in us. Chitvam Samshayam Yogam. Atishta Uttishta Bharata. With the grace of your Guru, the Shastras, be established in this knowledge of Karma Yoga. Stand up and finally says, do your duty. Seeing God in everything you do. This is how Lord Krishna concludes this chapter. Don't get entangled into wrong thoughts. I have to do my duty. That should be your aim. In what sense? Not that you are doing, but the Lord in you is doing your Nimitta Matram. Simple formula. Naham karta hari karta, naham karta hari karta, Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. This is the end of everything. Know that the Lord is in us, who is the real doer. This is actually, I'll tell you a story which happened in the Ramana Maharshi ashrama. One devotee, he had gone to do the production of the Arunachalam mountain, where we have the ashram of Sri Ramana Maharshi. Now, lakhs and lakhs of devotees come on the Purnima day to take the production of the Arunachala mountain. Now, one person who was in his late 60s, not that healthy, he also had in his mind that I should do this pradakshina before I pass away. So he comes there and he gets into the crowd. He's not able to manage the crowd. He falls down and people stamp him. He somehow gets out of the crowd and he goes to the ashram where Sri Ramana Maharshi is sitting. He was depressed, he was complaining because he could not see the Jyoti. And he tells Ramana Maharshi, I came to see the Jyoti here and look what is my state. People have stamped over me. I am now not even able to walk. That has become my state. So Ramana Maharshi says, what, you want to see the Jyoti? Why do you have to come all the way? Wherever you were, you could have seen the Jyoti. He says, how can that happen? He asks Ramana Maharshi, how can that happen? People come from far off places to go around this Arunachala to see the Jyoti, and you are saying you don't have to come here, you can see it from wherever you are. Then Sri Ramana Maharshi tells him, look, this Jyoti is Akhanda. It is there everywhere. Rest of the Jyotis are not Akhanda. They at one point of time they'll be off. They are switched off. But this, he refers this Jyoti to Atma, that consciousness. Look deep within yourself and you will find that Jyoti within yourself. So one need not go to any sort of a place and say that, okay, now I've gone there, I will get liberated, this will happen, that will happen. But knowledge of that essence of this entire creation, luckily we have within us. And once we have the knowledge and we connect to this knowledge, then we are liberated. So we have to strengthen our knowledge. The more and more, I again and again I have been mentioning this. I was feeling also a little weird when I was hearing for the first time. Is it possible? Can I get this kind of a feeling? How people around me and me are same. But you start practicing, go deep into that one consciousness principle. Then you will understand. Yes. You have to shift yourself. Being in the jeeva, if you try to understand consciousness, you will not understand consciousness. Settle your mind. Come out of that jeeva bhava. Being in atma bhava, then you will experience that everything is me and me. These are very important what I am telling you. Practice that. Being in jiva bhava, don't try to think that I, me, everybody around me are the same. You will still get confused. Come out of the jiva bhava. Settle your mind. Once your mind is in complete state of calmness, then after you experience consciousness, then you will experience that everything and everything around is consciousness and consciousness alone. This has to be our goal and our destination. So we'll end this chapter, we'll chant the last verse. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Gnana Karma Sanyasa Yogo Nama चतुर्थोऽध्यायः. Read the first shloka. श्रीभगवानुवाच इमं विवस्वते योगं प्रोक्तवानहमव्ययम् विवस्वान्मनवे प्राह मुनिरिक्ष्वाकवे ब्रवीत्. Krishna idam namama. Om Tat Sat. Now let's listen to meanings of two divine names. This is shloka number 38. We'll read the Vishnu Sahasranama shloka. Padmanabhoravindakshah Padmagarbha Sharirabhrit Mahardiruddho Vruddhatma Mahaksho Garudadvajah. 348. Padmagarbha. One who is being meditated upon in the heart of the lotus, in the center of the lotus of the heart. One who is being meditated upon in the center of the lotus of the heart. Padma Garbha. 349. Sharira Brita. Now what we studied today is coming here. One who sustains or nourishes all bodies. Or it can mean one who is the form of food and prana, becomes the very cause for the sustenance of the body. It is a fact very well known that even though a body can continue existing without visibly decaying for say 50 years, 60 years, but once life has ebbed away, the dead body cannot maintain its form and it does not exist even for 48 hours intact. He who, while presiding over the body, nourishes and maintains it, and in whose absence the body decays and perishes. So he is the one who is the sustainer of the body. Deha Brit, Sharira Brit. To such a divine Almighty, we offer our humble salutations. We seek His grace again and again, His mercy, His blessings, without which we will not be able to attain anything in our life. Krishna. Now let's read the Dhanvantari mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutagalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Vaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutagalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा. We offer our humble salutations to Lord Dhanvantari to give us health till the time we are able to awaken and understand deeply the concept of Almighty and self-reliance. Krishna Arpana. Om Tat Sat. Now let's do the Sakshatkara Siddhi Yoga Dhyana. First, let's prepare our mind with pranayama. 1:4:2 is the quantum. 1 is inhale. 4 times of the time you have inhaled should be holding the breath, and 2 times the amount you have inhaled should be exhalation, giving out your breath. In the same way, we continue for some time, prepare our mind, and then we watch the thoughts in our mind. The same concept, what Tenzin was practicing. Your mind is like the sky. The thoughts are like the clouds. Allow the thoughts to pass away. Don't cling on to the thought. Don't question it. Don't judge the thought. Just ignore the thought and see the number of thoughts gradually falling down in your mind, and you come to a state where there are no thoughts, and go deeper and deeper in that state. You will be completely in control. Now let's prepare our body. Any part of the body is at unease, please get up, take a few steps, sit back again, massage that portion of the body which is not cooperating, and for the next few minutes ask the body to cooperate. Sit straight and erect, but comfortably. Head, neck and spine in a straight line. Relax your forehead. Completely relax your face. Your neck. Relax your shoulders. Relax your upper body. Relax your lower body. Take a few deep breaths. Now we do the pranayam 1:4:2. Slowly bring your attention on the thoughts in your mind. Without being judgmental, allow the thoughts pass by. Visualize the thoughts, number of thoughts slowly decreasing. You are coming to a point where there are no thoughts. Feel the awareness within you. Just be. For feeling the awareness, you don't need the mind. You have completely shut down your mind. Now slowly bring your attention to your breath. Become aware of yourself. Become aware of the surroundings. Om Purnamada Purna Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Rub your palm, place them on your eyes. Slowly and gently open your eyes. Today we offer Gita Gnana at the lotus feet of seek His grace, mercy, and blessings. Na ham karta hari karta, hari prerana, hari priti. Shri Krishna arpana. Idam namama. Om Sat.